Hi, I'm Tim Wheat.
And I'm Vonda Vincent.
And we want to welcome you today to the Launch Church Planting Network training for assessors. The launch process is comprised of three parts. The first part is the assessment retreat. The second part is the training piece. And then the third part is the mentoring piece. In the assessment piece, we pull together assessors, or people who help us do some evaluation of the individuals that are coming through to help them discern the activity of God in their life. And what we look for in assessors are certain characteristics or standards. So today what we want to talk about are the 10 gold medal standards that we're looking for in assessors.
Number 1, set a personal tone at the beginning of the interview. This can be a stressful and intimidating process for these couples, so something as simple as calling them by name will set them at ease, and it will feel less like an interrogation and more like an interview, which in turn will give you a better and more accurate assessment of these couples. Now, you will get a profile ahead of time so that you can familiarize yourself with the general information about the people that you're going to assess. Number 2, practice active listening. Now, I'm like all of you, and I'm addicted to my phone, but now is not the time to text or change your status update. Just put the phone away so you're not even tempted to look at the time. You want to look them in the eye, nod your head, give some kind of physical indicator to them that you're listening to them and that you care about what they have to say. Just like calling them by name, this will help put them at ease. Number 3, use appropriate body language. 90% of our communication is nonverbal, so something as simple as crossing your arms or having them in your lap can make a huge difference. One appears closed and disinterested. One is more open and engaging.
Number 4 is to ask open-ended questions. We want you to ask the types of questions that allow the church planter and his wife to brag on themselves. We want to get to know them. And so ask the types of questions that allows them to explain or elaborate. Stay away from the yes or no types of questions. For example, instead of asking them the question, well, have you ever started something? Ask them the type of question that goes, tell us something that you have started and how you felt about that and how it all worked out. Number 5 is to ask good follow-up probing questions. Sometimes a church planter and his wife can be just a little hesitant in talking about themselves. Even though we've given them the permission to brag, they might withhold some information or leave out some details. And so as an assessor, we want you to ask those types of questions that may explore that topic or that subject just a little bit more. For example, in the leadership area, when we've asked them, tell us something that you started, they might tell us about it, but you can ask the types of questions, well, how did that make you feel? Or how did that work out? Or what did you learn from that? And that gives us the opportunity to better understand their leadership capabilities. Number 6 is to demonstrate knowledge and expertise in the subject area. The assessment team is comprised of different individuals, and they look at various aspects of the church planter's life. There'll be a counselor, there'll be people who focus in on leadership, there'll be people who focus in on personal growth, there'll be some that'll be talking with and interviewing the church planter's wives. And so what we want to do is to better understand those areas, and so we have people in those areas of expertise, so that you don't have to know everything about church planting, but we do want you to focus in on that particular area, to have background and knowledge in counseling if you're a counselor, and a background and knowledge in leadership if you're in the leadership area. And so that helps us again to get a full picture of the church planter and his wife. Number 7 is to avoid coaching and consulting in the area of church planting. Now, as an assessor, we have assembled a team of people who have expertise, as we just talked about, in certain fields, but not necessarily in church planting. And probably the biggest challenge is, because you have knowledge and expertise, is the tendency to want to give advice or to start giving counsel or to maybe speak into the church planter's life or the wife's life and try to give them some guidance in some area. It's a big challenge for us, but what we need, this is an interview for us to learn from them. And so we ask for our assessors to refrain from the coaching and consulting. That's going to take place at another time in the assessment retreat. That's going to take place during the training time, but not during the interview time. Number 8 is to manage the rhythm and the pace of the conversation. Again, part of the reason that we don't want you consulting or coaching, as we just mentioned, is that there's a whole set of questions that we've compiled. And these questions are designed to help us to understand who the church planter is and who his wife is and to know more about their life. And so in order to get through this list of questions so that we can get a full picture of the church planter and his wife, is we've got to learn how to pace ourselves and not give too much comment or allow them to go on too much about one area, because we want to keep the rhythm moving and the pace moving forward so that we can cover all the questions and get as much information about the church planter and his wife.
Number 9, maintain an overall positive, encouraging spirit. These people have sensed a calling from God to launch a church, and now they are placed in a process where they feel like their calling is being placed in your hands. We want to encourage them, and we want to applaud their step of faith. Number 10, close with positive affirmation and prayer. Now that may seem like a no-brainer, but in the process of trying to make sure that you've asked all the right questions and that you're assessing them correctly, you may overlook that. But this is a huge endeavor on their part. They've prayed a lot about it, and they need prayer over it. So before you close, pray over them. That may be the most encouraging thing that you do for them all day.
Hey, once again, thank you for joining with us. We hope that it's been valuable for you. In wrapping this up, let me just say that the goal of an assessor is to really help affirm the church planter's call on their life. They all have a calling to something. It might not necessarily be to church planting, but you have the privilege and the responsibility of helping a group of people discern that so that we can encourage them and help them move forward in following God's call in their life.
And we want to thank you for that. We know that you're volunteering your time away from family, away from your ministry. We don't take that lightly, and we so appreciate the giftedness that God has given to you and that you're using it to help the Launch Network and help further the kingdom.
So once again, we'll close this time by going through the 10 gold medal standards that we're looking for in assessors. Thank you for joining with us.
Number 1, set a personal tone at the beginning of the interview. Number 2, practice active listening. Number 3, use appropriate body language.
Number 4, ask open-ended questions. Number 5, ask probing follow-up questions. Number 6, demonstrates expertise and knowledge related to the subject area. Number 7, avoid coaching and consulting related to church planting. Number 8, manage the rhythm and pace of the conversation.
Number 9, maintain an overall positive, encouraging spirit. And number 10, close with positive affirmation and prayer.